yes, we all age, but I'm going to try and age well.
Yeah.
And it always stuck with me, that idea. And then obviously when my mom had a heart attack several years ago, um, and saw changes in her, and it kind of motivated me even more.
Hey, hey, gang, leaders, Coach Oz, Ryan Osborne back with you with another rendition of, Fit Leaders Talks. Having a really, really exciting guest and looking forward to our conversations that you'll hear and get to know a little bit about Pam Dempster. And again, folks, for those that might just be, tuning in for the first time, I'm just looking to kind of speak with leaders, business leaders, whether they're entrepreneurs, business owners, executives, whatever, in terms of really showcasing how managing, their health and fitness, whether they've come from struggle and things have turned around, whether it was a life event, maybe it was just an actual lifelong lifestyle thing that they just, like I said, truly, believe. They make time, and how it affects their business specifically, how it affects their business decision-making ability, their mental health, potentially their confidence. And then finally, what I like to do is, just try to pick their brain a little bit in terms of, how are they managing as busy as they are. Some, my people that I will be speaking with have multiple businesses, or they travel a lot, or they just have massive growth, and yet they make time for their own health and fitness. So I want to leave these type talks with just one little tidbit of how they themselves manage to kind of find time for their fitness. So I want you, Pam, to kind of say hi to the gang.
Hi, everyone.
So yeah, so Pam Dempster is live and in color from Nova Scotia. You live, where do you exactly live in Nova Scotia? Like,
uh,
is it just outside?
just
How,
outside Halifax.
Okay. So Pam Dempster is the founder and owner of Dempster Wellness, who offers a host of ergonomic and corporate wellness services. She is a certified professional ergonomist, and she is a certified corporate wellness specialist. And I just know, based on our previous conversations that we have had, plus just checking out on social media, that she makes time. And as you're going to hear, she's a bad boss, and I mean that in a good sense. She really puts the work in the grind, in the trenches, I'll call it, with her workouts. And as you know, it becomes a significant part of her life, which we'll find out. So again, super appreciative of your time, because I know you're crazy busy. Yeah, I just want to kind of jump in and to give backgrounds on stories. I know you chatted about the very fact that it has been pretty much a lifelong, journey. You were younger, into gymnastics, into just, overall physical activity, being outdoors a lot, and just kind of talk about, what that was like, what, your viewpoint on physical activity. That I know it wasn't, kind of from like an aesthetic thing. So just touch base on kind of like your upbringing years, and then that transition as you became obviously a professional, a mother, and older into, as you got a bit older there.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ryan, as a child, I was very active, and I was always, as I mentioned, I was always outside. I didn't do a lot of team sports as a child. I was, more into the solitary side. So
Okay.
gymnastics, loved tennis, all that
Mhm.
stuff. I was one of those kids that just loved being outside. And it was, the 1970s. That's what we did. We went outside and we played all day.
Yeah.
So that was just part of my upbringing. And funny enough, when we were speaking back during that time period, we actually had, in Canada, we had the Canadian Fitness Awards, and these were fitness challenges, I'm going to say, that were put on throughout different schools
Yeah.
back in the day. And they would go in and actually assess the children's fitness levels.
Yeah.
And based on certain challenges within certain timelines,
Yeah.
you would reach a certain fitness level. And again, because I was just one of those active kids, I received the highest award, which is what back then was called the Award of Excellence
Yes.
badge. And it was, it just came easy to me as a child.
And they never did. So like, because when we chatted beforehand, I was like, I'm an 80s,
Yeah.
child, but I just, so it stopped. Like, it was just kind of like a 70s thing. And it was a national, it was
Yeah,
national. You said?
yeah, and I, we got formal certificates and badges. It was almost like
Never heard of
the
it.
yeah. So I would go back and look into it.
I know.
I believe
I grew up with Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod
Well, I
from
was just going to say,
Participation, but
I think it may have been connected to the participation program back in the
mm,
day,
yeah,
maybe a predecessor to that, but it
okay,
was really there to, I guess, go and assess the various fitness levels of
yeah,
children
children,
throughout the regions, and I look forward to it every year because it was
yeah,
a challenge. They took you in the gym, and they had designated stations, and you would go rotate to each station
yeah.
and get tested. How many sit-ups can you do in a minute? No, no, no. And that's what you did. You
So
challenged.
like senior high, was it senior high? Was it
No, this
all
was
ages?
elementary school.
Oh, sorry. Okay, wow,
Elementary,
wow.
yeah.
I
So
wonder
when
if that
we,
provides a little bit of foreshadowing for your competitiveness, which I don't want to jump in yet. But it's
that's why I
curious.
brought it up because even as a young, elementary school age child, I couldn't wait to get from station to station, challenge myself. Like, how many sit-ups can I get in this time period?
Okay. So as we get into, and like you said, it was pretty much even like teenage years and university, you kind of were trying to, get back into activities and, based on, here and there. But let's just look at that then, post university, right?
Hmm.
So, professional career starts to get busier. I know then you kind of,
So
became a mother, and just talk about that time period for a second.
So yeah, I mean, and this is no excuse, but for me at that time, it just became a bit more challenging for me to just naturally go and seek out um, fitness things that I love to do, going and lifting weights,
Yep.
going outside, maybe cycling, things like that. It just became more of a challenge because during those years, your time is concentrated and a little bit constrained to providing care for other humans that you're
Yep.
trying to raise.
Yep.
And so, and again, no excuse, but back then it was a little bit more challenging for me to do that. I did have a period of time when the children were younger that I was a single mom.
Yes.
And again, no excuse, but my time during that period was very concentrated on the upbringing of the children and
Yep.
making sure their daily routines were good. And I was working full time, and so my time was to choose time with them
Mhm.
during that period,
Absolutely.
and that was my focus. And I guess moving on from that time period, as the children got older, I remarried, and life tends to, I guess you can say, balance out a little bit. I guess the children's time, they're growing up, they're not as demanding on your time.
Yep.
I then obviously jumped into the entrepreneurial world and opened up my own company. And so the focus shifted in that I guess a little bit more time opened up where, okay, I can maybe go back and do stuff that I really love doing. And I never really thought about it. It just kind of happened, honestly.
When you were going through that period of raising your children and that, like, was there was it just kind of like a frustrating thing, like knowing that you wanted to be kind of getting back to your fitness, like, just where were you kind of mentally,
I
like knowing
guess,
that you didn't have the
yeah,
time, but were,
right.
were you kind of like, was the urge there, or was it truly just, what, I'm just going to kind of live in the moment and I got to take care of my kids, or was there a little bit of like, oh my god, I just can't wait to maybe have the flexibility of time, or what?
I guess when I reflect back on it now, funny enough, it wasn't really maybe stepping back from the fitness. it actually shifted. So what I mean by that is when the children were younger and young, when I look back on it, I was actually still pretty active, but with them.
With that,
So
exactly.
I was the mom outside
Yes.
shooting hoops with them, with my son, going on
Awesome.
bike rides. So
Yeah.
it, I think it just shifted.
It should shifted. Yeah.
It shifted, and again, the focus was on their
Yeah.
fitness.
And so, like you said, lover of movement. I think that's a great, like,
Yeah.
theme for you particularly, was that it has been that lover of movement, and then, and just knowing body awareness, that when you're moving, it's just, you know what I mean? Like in any form,
And it's
it
funny,
it's an
it's
energy.
obviously reflected in my own company as an ergonomist, with sedentary lifestyles in corporate environments.
Yep.
We got to get these bodies moving, or there's going to be some health repercussions occurring. So it's kind of a spillover, I guess, of that. And yeah.
And so then I know, as you kind of transitioned, from, being, active in general, and you're finding that you're getting a bit of balance, kids are a bit older. Let's kind of focus on being strong, because I think, true inner strength, and obviously now the transitioning of what you do currently in terms of your fitness regime, and how it transfers to your everyday life and work life. I think, let's just touch on both that preventative feature that you're kind of looking at it from, like, coming up, being in long-term care, and I know your mother, had a health event as well. So the
Mm,
combination of that preventative care, but let's just, like I said, transition now to, as you move back into, basically, I guess, the gym setting, and
mm.
why you love what you do now.
I was a health practitioner, occupational therapist in long-term care. So obviously, I was witness to senior aging in those environments,
Yeah.
and fabulous care that I witnessed. But I did see a trend in aging,
Mm.
obviously, in those environments. And even as a young practitioner, I guess it just stuck in my head that, you know, yes, we all age, but I'm going to try and age well.
Yeah.
And it always stuck with me, that idea. And then obviously, when my mom had a heart attack several years ago, um, and saw changes in her, and it kind of motivated me even more. So
Yep.
this is now, heading into my 40s at that time period, actually. And so, becoming an older woman, uh, uh, witnessing various changes in natural aging that can occur.
Yep.
I really, I guess I just want to do the best I can as I get older,
Yeah.
as a female, and try to offset any health risks that
Yes.
come to us all as our bodies naturally age. And as you know, coming from the fitness industry, um, our muscles are amazing, and our muscles have memory.
Hey, damn right.
So even as a 42-year-old, going back into the gym and looking at my free weights
Yeah.
was a bit daunting,
Hmm.
and thinking, okay, I'll try it. When I started back again in terms of the gym and weights, let's say, um, I couldn't do push-ups, Ryan. I couldn't do lunges for any length of time. My legs were like
Really? Hey?
nothing.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to say in the last decade, the changes are astronomical, and none of my fitness, even from day one, had nothing to do with the way I look. Although the results obviously affect that, right? It keeps
Yeah.
you healthy and a good body weight and so on and so forth. But it was never
It was never about that.
a weight thing for me, or how I look per se. I just wanted to feel strong,
Yeah.
physically
Yeah.
strong, right? And so, um, as I mentioned during our initial talk, uh, I'm currently in one of my gyms in our boot camp classes, deadlifting 150 pounds right through the rotations.
Boom.
Um, so even the coaches are
Awesome.
looking at me going, you've maxed out. You got
Yeah.
to go to the next room, which is the powerlifting room. You can't. We
Yeah.
have no heavier kettlebell for you to lift.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
so funny because sometimes if the odd guy is in the class, they're like, "Why? How is this little 5'2" girl
Oh
lifting
my
a
God.
150-pound kettlebell?" And
That is so
but
wild.
that's the change. That's the
But
change that occurred. Yeah.
talk about then kind of that connection of your entrepreneurial drive, your spirit, and how your current day-to-day business decision making and operations and areas of business growth, how that kind of get down, do the weights, understand there's skill involved, understand that there's confidence involved, and just talk about, yeah, the fitness kind of internal drive and how that may has now transitioned to how you do some of your business.
Yeah, I think they're just one and the same. Actually, they have to be, and it comes from um, just that drive to see where it can go, whether it's your own fitness challenge or something new that's coming on the plate within your organization. As an entrepreneur, how do I say this? I don't like putting us in the category of risk takers. I think we make strategic movements
Hmm.
based on the information that's around us. And then there's obviously a level of confidence within us, whether it's fitness or whether it's, a company decision, to say, okay, let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
let's give it a try and see how far we can go.
Hmm.
And it's the same with fitness.
Yeah.
Challenges. That's where you get the thing of challenging yourself, going to the
Absolutely.
next level. It's the
Yep.
same with the company.
Yeah. And I
Well,
think, yeah,
yeah.
no, I love that, because I think, in just, the world now that we live in, and those that, again, kind of really, I guess, battle with themselves. They're either relationship with their body, or they've always kind of just, on off motivation, obviously. And I know not everybody is intrinsically, like we understand that, but I feel like that's a great point to bring about, is when you view your fitness in just certainly a more tangible light of
Mhm.
versus just the aesthetic or a weight scale, and say, like, how can I challenge myself? Like, how can
Right.
I, push? I'm comparing to look where I've gone, because it's, even if you're not competitive, the very fact of saying, look where I am now, comparing to where I am before, like, I don't care who you are, that is so empowering,
That is
right?
so empowering.
Yeah,
So empowering. Like
yeah,
as I said, I couldn't do a push up when I started back, and now I'm deadlifting 150.
yeah,
I never thought I could run my own company
yeah,
7 years ago, and now I'm doing it, right?
yeah,
It's that drive, it's that vision
yeah,
of where you want to go.
yeah. I
Yeah,
like that. And
yeah.
so, and when you feel like, just talk about that, in terms of how your week is set up, like when you don't fit fitness in, and even probably that initial stage of quarantine with COVID, like, when you don't get fitness in, how does it affect you, or does it, like, just,
Oh, it totally does. And I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fitness junkie. I don't,
yeah,
it's not, I'm not like that. I just know what makes me motivated, what makes me feel better, health wise, energy wise, everything.
yeah,
So when COVID hit, I did the best I could. I did a lot of the online
yeah,
type of fitness programming. And again, I'm not sure if it's a personality thing, lost my mojo.
yeah,
I like being in the gym around others and
others,
feeling that energy in the room, right?
yeah,
And I lost it. So, I did miss that during COVID. So the second that both my gyms were able to open, and why I say both gyms is I have a gym I go to for like all my boot camps, weightlifting, And then I have another gym that offers different types of classes, like kickboxing,
Yeah.
that I go to for those.
Yeah.
Um, but the second that they opened up, I was there. I was
Yeah.
there, and I can't describe. It's like night and day. Losing that fitness component was had a big impact on me, and yeah, basically, how you were focusing on just running the company during that time period. Your energies are low. It really does have an impact overall,
Overall.
especially for me. I find when I don't get to the gym,
Yeah.
it really does impact me. And if I do miss those days, I do try to make it up. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I live 20 minutes from my gym,
Yeah. So you make
and
room.
I will, if I'm home working, I still get in the car and will drive 20 minutes to go work out.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just I found something that I love to
Yeah.
do, and when
Yeah.
it's not there,
Yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So final thing is what I like to kind of finish with these talks is just, giving some sort of, insight as to what you do, in terms of how your week, whether it's a weekend prep that's coming up, so any, whether it's nutrition, fitness, but what can you like, how do you look at your week? Is it pre-scheduling stuff? So just give a little thing of how you fit within, fit your fitness within your busy lifestyle.
So what I have found that works great for me is to actually pre-schedule all my classes that I want to go to at
Yeah.
either of my gyms.
Okay.
And I guess at that level, it kind of makes me committed
Yeah.
to going,
Yeah.
because it's there, it's out in the universe now, and
Mhm.
Pam has to be to class because the instructors there commit to their time as well. So once they have a certain amount of students in the class, the class has to go.
Yeah.
And so I always try to pre-schedule, and it kind of makes me accountable
Yes.
to be there at it, and that shadows through into your work, right? It's like booking a meeting.
Yep.
Like, it makes you accountable, right? You have to be there.
Yep.
So I find pre-scheduling
Okay.
does really help with me, and
Yep.
keeping that fitness in throughout my week. Balance out my meals for the remaining this week. So I've been really plant
Boom.
based,
Yep.
doing a lot of
So
salad,
smart. So smart.
doing my protein,
Yep.
stuff like
Yep.
that.
You
So
judge it's and that's it,
it's just a
right?
balance. Yeah, it's just a
Exactly. If
balance.
exercise
And
comes down, well then focus on your food and
yeah, but again,
don't
not
focus anymore.
restricted. I'm not missing anything.
Yeah.
I just shift it, and
Yeah.
it all works out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Pam, great, great, great. Really, I mean, I know these times go like crazy fast. We could spend on and on and on and on and on. But again, really appreciate your time, your vulnerable. I know sharing some people sharing these stories. It can get personal, but yeah, really appreciate your time. And
So welcome.
just fire. If someone wants to obviously find out what Dempster Wellness is about, where would they go?
Uh, they can check our website out, www.dempsterwellness.com.
Sweet. Well, she's a fit leader. There's no question, right? You are definitely a fit leader within that. And I think the whole point again of these talks, folks, is that to truly become a fit leader, you need to take ownership of your personal health, and that's just something that I'm obviously passionate about. Why I'm doing all these talks for a reason. And I hope obviously those that have watched this appreciate your time as well. And hopefully you've got some great insight and value to this. So again, Pam, super appreciative of your time. And
No problem. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, everyone.